Hello all, this is Halloween, and if you love cemeteries and haunted places and history as much as I do, you may want to subscribe because I'm going to be taking you somewhere new every week. In today's episode, we are headed to Wauchula, Florida to visit the Wauchula Cemetery. Enjoy! We're here at Woody's Barbecue in Wauchula, Florida. Gonna go in and get a bite to eat. We're here at Wauchula Cemetery in Wauchula, Florida. Let's go in and see what we can see. GoPro, stop recording. This is a pretty big cemetery, and Wauchula is quite rural. There's not a whole lot out here. The whole drive was basically farmland, and the food we just ate at Woody's was incredible. Very good barbecue. I know we cover a lot of barbecue on this channel. Just so happens that barbecue, like really good barbecue, is not available where we live in St. Petersburg. So when we go to the outskirts, Wauchula, more rural areas, we want to try the barbecue because it's likely very good. Got a flagpole here in the middle of the cemetery. Quite a few burials here, 5,900, upwards of 5,900 burials. And I do see some older memorials over to the left here. Look at that one. That capsule, you know that's old. There's some really neat looking trees here too. I'm glad it's a little overcast today because there aren't a lot of trees. It's not very shaded in this cemetery. They're just kind of here and there. Here we have a cluster of Mitchells. A J.P. Mitchell, Hazel Goff Mitchell. In the middle here, a William E. Mitchell, a W. Emmett Mitchell, and a Mary G. Mitchell. I was trying to look for information online regarding the cemetery, and I couldn't find much on this particular cemetery. Seems to be a historic cemetery. We've got headstones dating back to the early 1900s. You can tell a lot of these are. That's why I came directly to this area of the cemetery. Here we have Ruth McEwen, born January 31st, 1819, and died in July of 1898. Well, the sun just came out. This is a whole McEwen plot. Quite possibly pioneers, first settlers of the area. You can tell these are very old. The script might be on the other side of these. Yeah. This one passed in 1892. This one, 1899. 43 years old when she passed away. These are more McEwens. So a lot of McEwens here. Here's another old one. This one's 1906. Here we have a reverend and his wife, W.F. Norris, born 1826, died in 1907. And right over here, his wife, this is really beautiful. The top of this headstone, how it's kind of etched out of the headstone in 3D, has a 3D effect. Serena E., wife of W.F. Norris, who was the reverend over here, died April 24th, 1894. Here's a John S. Irwin. I have an uncle named John Irwin, but his is John Irwin Edwards, but born January 14th, 1852. Died January 9th, 1906. Aged 53 years, 11 months, and 25 days. Only sleeping, it says. And it's got that cool 3D lily down there, a calla lily. Looks really cool. Now this tree stump style of memorial is indicative of a life cut short. Which, I mean, 53 years old is young to pass away. A lot buried here passed in 1906 from what I can see. But I would assume this cemetery dates back to maybe even the mid-1800s. I couldn't even find that information. Some of these cemeteries, it's hard to find the information online. They just don't say much. I don't believe that anybody famous is buried here, from what I could see. Couldn't find it and find a grave or anything. A lot of soldiers, though. Veterans. Edwards. Here's a Bateman plot. That one's cool. And there's a couple of veterans over there. Let's see. No, it's a veteran and his wife. It says Nana at the bottom. And Nana and Pop Pop. World War II. Henry M. Rowe Jr., Tech 5, U.S. Army, World War II, February 4th, 1923 to September 1st, 2010, Medical Corps, and they called him Pop Pop. And his wife, Franny N. Rowe, dedicated wife and loving mother, November 7th, 1927 to 2021. So she died here just recently. Here's just a small row of children in little above ground brick monuments. James Wilbur Allen, born October 14th, 1911, died July 5th, 1914. You can see how people have placed little toys at their gravesite. Fanny M. Allen, born April 2nd, 1909, passed May 18th, 1910. Is this another? Let's see. That one's really hard to read. It says, I think, Alonza. But it does say born April 20th, 1900 and lived to 1904. Wow, that's not something that you see often. Here's another old one. Ida T. Ledley, born April 6, 1867, died February 5th in 1907. Ledley. Here's a Warren family plot right next to it. This right back half of the cemetery, or back quarter of the cemetery, appears to be like a Hispanic section of the cemetery. You'll see in a lot of Hispanic cemeteries, they do a lot of flowers, wooden crosses, you know, things of that nature. They definitely have their own style of burial. They'll bring in the fake flowers, and at Christmas time, decorate for Christmas, and it's a whole decorative thing. Latin America is very decorative like that. So you'll see all this here, all the way to the street on the other side. This back quarter is all Hispanic, I believe. We've got Morales, Carrera, Lopez. That's just what I'm gathering just from the names and then the styles of burials and trinkets of remembrance that you can see here. So this is a Francisco J. Paco. I guess Paco was his nickname. From Francisco J. Paco Figueroa, December 11th, 1989 to February 18th, 2018. Son, brother, uncle, firefighter, Marine. But here was interesting. It says, all the gods, all the heavens, all the hells are within you. And JC. I don't know what that means, Jesus Christ, but someone brought him a Modelo. Over here we have a bit of a mound. This is Isauro Figueroa, December 28th, 2023. You see the wooden crosses and the very intricate plots that are all designed. Now this just makes me wonder if this is some kind of natural burial, like what they do in the Muslim religion. I'm not really sure. I was reading about this particular cemetery, and they had like funeral, frequently asked questions for the particular funeral home that kind of is associated with the cemetery, and one of the things was that burials can cost as low as $1,000, and they were talking about if you get a more affordable box or coffin, and I'm just wondering if that's some kind of biodegradable thing, if this here is an example of that. I'm not really sure. Here we have another Sergeant David S. Hernandez, September 27, 1991 to September 8, 2019. Another really beautiful headstone, and it has a whole collage on the back of the family, you know, just different pictures of him. It's a really beautiful Unfortunately, this cemetery doesn't have any historic markers that I can read more about the cemetery either. So it's just, you're very limited the information that you can get online or otherwise in this particular cemetery. Here's another Hernandez. I'm wondering if this was his mother. He's kind of like off, adjacent to her. But another really beautiful headstone, for sure. You see a lot of wooden crosses over here. Rosario. Look how precious. This is a beautiful headstone of a little baby that didn't make it. Angel Paul Melendez Leal, March 16, 2006 to April 21st, 2006. A little time on earth he spent till God for him his angel sent. That's a beautiful headstone. I think that's my favorite I've ever seen of a baby. It's got a picture of the newborn right there. Oh. Leo. I think this is a relative. If tears could build a stairway and memories a lane, I'd walk right up to heaven and bring you home again. Look at this. Alexander Moises Leo, August 9th, 2008 to September 24th, 2009. Wow, it's the same name. I'm just wondering if this is two babies that they lost. It's devastating. That black headstone is just beautiful. I really love that style. Look how precious. This is a beautiful headstone of a little baby that didn't make it. Angel Paul Melendez Leal, March 16, 2006 to April 21st, 2006. A little time on earth he spent till God for him his angel sent. That's a beautiful headstone. I think that's my favorite I've ever seen of a baby. It's got a picture of the newborn right there. Oh. Leo. I think this is a A relative? If tears could build a stairway and memories a lane, I'd walk right up to heaven and bring you home again. Look at this. Alexander Moises Leal. August 9th, 2008 to September 24th, 2009. Wow, it's the same name. I'm just wondering if this is two babies that they lost. It's devastating. That black headstone is just beautiful. I really love that style. It's starting to get very, very hot out here. And before I pass out, I think I need a break. So we're going to be heading out of this one. I went to the parts of the cemetery that really caught my eye, as per usual. A lot of the cemetery, the right front and even left front of the cemetery, are a lot of just newer headstones. I wanted to really touch on the historic headstones and see the Latin American part of the cemetery as well. I think it's always cool to see different people's burial practices. Latin culture is very ornate in origin. It just is very colorful and flowers, and it's in its own way very beautiful. And you could see probably on some of these that some offerings were left and things like that. That's their culture. So I hope you enjoyed it. It is a big cemetery without a lot of shade, so on hot days like today, you may want to dress accordingly, wear comfortable shoes. It's a few acres of land at least, so quite a big cemetery. That does it for this one. I'll see you at the next one. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I hope you loved today's stroll through the cemetery, the Wauchula Cemetery. It was a really nice cemetery, very well kept. Had some really neat older headstones in there. I just wish I could have found out more about the cemetery and the people that are laid to rest there. I studied this cemetery as much as I could find out for the whole hour drive, and I just couldn't find much on anything about it. So not even when it was established, but I'm assuming that it was probably established around the late 1800s, 1875, 1880, somewhere around there. The headstones that we saw kind of indicated as such. Of course, there could be some unmarked graves that go back as far as maybe even the 1850s, but I don't know. Woody's was amazing. The food was incredible. That pie was so delicious that I would probably go back to Wauchula just for the pie. Wauchula is a cool place to visit. It's a small historic town. If you're in the area and you want to visit, just don't go on a Monday. Everything was closed. It's Monday today. Literally everything was closed. So I think there was like 2 stores that were open, and we checked those out, and it wasn't really our type of stuff. One of them was really cool, had kind of more artsy stuff, and I really liked that one, and the other one was more like a shabby chic home decor sort of place, and everything in that one was overpriced. But the other one was really cool. The lady was super nice. We did check out a thrift store, which was called Mustard Seed. Had great deals. I got a Wonder Woman picture for like $1. So like everything's $1 besides the clothes in there. So that was really cool. It's a very small community that's very Christian. It was really nice and refreshing to be around like-minded people. We did go into Bowling Green. We were actually going to hit 2 cemeteries today. And we were going to go to the Olive Branch Cemetery, a historic cemetery in Bowling Green. And we get to the Old Olive Branch Cemetery Road, turn right down on this dirt road. There's Lime Grove on the left-hand side and basically like a horse pasture, whatever you want to call it, on the right. And you go down this road and down, and it tells you you've reached your destination. And there's no headstones, there's no cemetery. We keep going, just curious. if we'll ever find it, and there was never a cemetery on that road, as far as what we saw. Now, there very well could have been, at one point, a historic olive branch cemetery in that space. It's either overgrown or it's just been forgotten about, like so many others, like the Port Tampa Cemetery and others that we've seen. I hope you loved it anyway. Just make note of that if you are in Bowling Green, which literally there was nothing to do in that little town. We stopped and took a picture next to an old train at the old train station, and that was it. It was nothing but churches and hair salons. Nowhere to eat, nowhere to shop. It was wild. So very, very small town. I just wanted to let you know that. So don't try to go to that cemetery because it's not there. If you liked this episode, there'll be many others just like it. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share the video. And I'll see you next time.